All right, we're recording. Way.
All right.
So,
Where's your clap? There we
There
go.
we go.
Action.
Hey everyone, welcome to ByteSized Talks. We're here on BS Talks. We talk about a little bit about this, that, and the other, just things that we find interesting and want to share with you, so you don't have to go scour the internet like we do. My name is Gary, aka Hempy. On the other side of the screen is Julian. Say what's up, Julian.
Hey, everybody. My name is Julian, aka Jupe or Juper. We'll be talking about a few things today. Today, I'll be talking about the atomic bomb and also a couple of news stories that came out from Russia that I found pretty interesting. What are you going to be talking about, Gary?
For me this week, I go to the movies every Tuesday, simply because that's like half off popcorn day. I'm not gonna lie. This week I watched the movie Blue Beetle and the movie Strays. So kind of my thing to do.
I've been wanting to watch Strays. It looks like such a good movie.
It was pretty good. We'll get into it. But my whole thing is I like to go. I'll watch one, go top off on popcorn, and because they have free refills on the popcorn and sodas if you get the large. So I'll go top off and then go back and watch another one. So, as you guys can see, we have a bit of a little disclaimer going at the bottom, just to give ourselves a little bit of protection against our respective employers and organizations. But I'll start out with Strays, man. Strays, obviously that's the Will Ferrell, Jamie Foxx movie where it's an animal voiceover, live action film, and it's weird because like it's one of those flicks that it's very similar. When I was thinking about it, it was similar to the movie Sausage Party. Remember that movie?
Oh yeah, that was a raunchy movie.
Yeah, but like it was like it was something that took a kid format.
Yeah.
Right. And there's introduced a bunch of adult topics and adult jokes, and they had fun with it. I remember I think I only watched it once. I remember enjoying that movie. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was good.
It was all right. I mean, for what it was, it was funny. It was all right.
Yeah, that's the same way I felt about Strays. Like it definitely had parts people laughed at. There's definitely parts that if you're a dog owner, you would appreciate a little bit more. Just some of the their behaviors. Like at one point they're like trying to sleep, and it's like oh nope. Like the dog was like trying to find the perfect spot, so like it went to sit down. I was like nope, gotta go again. Oh no, I messed it up. Gotta start all over. Like, and it's somebody who doesn't have dogs, like they wouldn't fully get that joke, or either they haven't been around dogs. So, it was a good time though. And sometimes it was a bit much, got kind of carried away. But I think it's worth checking out. I give it like a solid like 6.5 out of 10. Like, so I wouldn't say you have to rush out. I mean, if it's something you were thinking you would enjoy, yeah, go check it out. I think you'll get your money's worth out of it. Speaking of getting your money's worth, did you know this Sunday is National Movie Day? That would be.
I didn't know that.
August 27th. So it's always at either the end of August or like first week of September.
Yeah.
So theaters for maybe the 10 people who are going to watch this.
At most.
This Sunday, most movie theaters are selling tickets for $4 in all formats. So there's a IMAX movie or
I love IMAX.
where normally it's like a $20 ticket, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 25 last time I checked. It was pretty expensive.
We're still at like 22 out here in Kentucky. I think imagine what California is at. They're probably like $30 a ticket.
Probably.
What's nice about our IMAX theaters, I don't know if you have this at yours. We still have the recliner seats out here at our Regal theater.
Dude, we barely have a movie theater here in New Mexico. We have one movie theater. They closed out another one.
not in all of New Mexico, way. Right?
Well, not in all of New Mexico, yeah, but
I think you're more specific. You're talking about Santa Fe, right?
Yeah.
Like Santa Fe area, because I imagine that big Cinemark in the Kirky still open.
Yeah, well, I think Regal went out of business, and not went out of business, but they were closing down. I think 50 movie theaters across the country, and I think one of them was affected in Santa Fe.
Okay. Here's another money saver. Regal has a monthly pass for like $19. At least that's how much it varies a little bit, theater or state to state, theater to theater.
Yeah.
but like 20 bucks a month approximately, unlimited movies in normal formats. So
Yeah, I think 2 visits and it pays for itself. And I mean, for 2 visits, I mean, you go at least twice a week.
yeah, and yes, that movie like Strays pretty straightforward. Again, funny, enjoyable, but wasn't like over the top game changing or anything.
Yeah.
Then Blue Beetle, like, had you ever heard of that character or anything beforehand?
I've been watching a few podcasts to where they're announcing it there. It's a running joke. It's a meme to where somebody always in the comments kind of promotes it. But Blue Beat, I haven't heard about it since before this movie. I've never really heard about it.
Yeah, like I mean, I've never been into comic books or anything, so like,
Yeah.
but like growing up, I knew about Iron Man, like just by chance or video
Yeah.
games or, and this movie, like it's in the like it's DC, so like the kid in the movie, the main character, he just graduated college from Gotham Law, you know,
Okay.
so like he flew in for there, and I forget the name of the fictional city, but it was like a mix of like Palm something, so it had like some LA vibes to it, a lot of Floridian vibes to
Okay.
like the city and the layout. But like right away, I think they hit you with like La Chona, like they, they right away they're trying to pull those Latino heartstrings. They're trying to get it in, like make that connection and vibe, and even at the end, like the last song I remember is Sabor a Mi, like
Which was that one?
I'm,
And I
you
failed as
think
a
I'm you
Mexican.
think I'm not gonna sing way, like especially that song. It's a
Oh,
little too
come
intimate.
on.
Sabor a mi.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
I didn't do it justice. It's actually a really good song. But again, so they're constantly making connections and tying to Latin or Hispanic or Mexican culture, Chicano culture.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like Spanglish mixed in there. Like George Lopez is in it, and he has like this
Yeah.
character who has like the world's worst haircut and like stupid like weird beard. Like it's one of those things like I get it, like to make him kind of oddballish, but
Yeah.
it was almost a bit too much. Like but
Yeah.
at
I know a
one
few
point, like
people are excited about watching the movie just because George Lopez is in there. I mean,
yeah,
George Lopez hasn't made a movie or anything like that in a while.
yeah,
So everybody's so excited. Oh, they got George Lopez, they got Hispanics. I'm pretty excited about that. So
yeah.
yeah, I guess that's why people are excited.
And so the beetle is actually called like a scarab in the movie.
Okay.
And when it's attaching to the guy who becomes Blue Beetle, right?
Yeah.
Uh like he's like, it's inside me, and like George Lopez like suculo or something like that. Like
Oh,
so
God.
most of the time when they were mixing in the Spanglish, like there was no subtitles unless they gave it like a full sentence, then they would give something there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was, his parents were immigrants and they moved to this, this house, and like the dad had to sacrifice everything to get the family situated. George Lopez, again, like constantly pulling at like Latino things. George Lopez has a truck. Do you want to guess what truck he had?
Chevy Silverado.
No, he had a Toyota Tacoma
Oh,
that he called the Taco.
that makes sense. Vamos a la
Yeah.
taco, mijo.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just constantly doing that. Like at one point, like he's like leaving, and the grandma's like, come here, I need to bless you, and like, so yeah, good movie. I give that like a solid 7.5. I
Okay.
think if Marvel, like if it would have had that Marvel touch, it easily bumps it up like a full point, like to like an 8.5.
Okay.
There's just some things where I'm just like, like it wasn't bad, but it was like there was enough of them, and I don't want to throw anything out here for spoilers,
Yeah.
But there's a few things that's like, man, it needed one more round of editing to tighten that up a little bit, like, and it was nothing egregious. I would say the big thing is like it's that Batman complex where he can't kill anybody, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
I'm not a killer. Everybody in his families are killers, though. They're just murdering people. In the last big fight scene, his family like mercs like freaking like 50. They catch like 50 bodies. Like they're just murdering people like crazy. Not even caring. Not affected by it. No PTSD from it. Just spraying and preying on people. And like he's like being careful on how hard he punches people and stuff. Like it's kind of ridiculous. But I thought it was interesting. I kind of feel like it's gonna be like the Chicano, Latin American, Mexican, like it's gonna be to that community what the Black Panther was to the Black community, like
Okay.
without like this guy having to originate in a Latin American country, like so it'd be like if Black Panther was an American rather from some make believe country, Wakanda, so
Yeah.
they
So,
didn't have.
Let's do this for reference. I mean, obviously, people are going to have different reviews, and some people are going to say, "Oh, it's a 10 out of 10." So for
Oh,
you, yeah. So for
see my
you,
accuracy, yeah.
what would be like a solid 9 or 10 out of 10 movie?
Okay. 10 out of 10. Like, do I have to stick to superhero movies?
Doesn't matter what movie. What movie that you watched would you say is a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10?
Jurassic Park. Like, and I'll be honest, and I'm going to go watch. Did I say anything else? Jurassic Park, the first one, JP original. I'm going to go watch that on Tuesday. It's coming back in 3D for its 30th anniversary. So I will see that this Tuesday. I'll let you know if it still holds up. Spoiler, it does. Okay.
How old were you when you first watched that movie?
Dude, I think I was like 5 or 6 and I pissed my pants during the T-Rex scene. And here's it gets better. I was scared and I was sitting on my oldest brother's lap and he's like, "What the
You pissed on his lap?"
Dude, that T-Rex was freaking terrifying. Like, I was about to go get eaten by a dinosaur on my way to they literally show a guy getting killed on a toilet. Like, think I was gonna chance it? No.
Oh god.
We stayed for the whole movie.
Your poor brother. A wet lap the entire movie. Isn't that towards the beginning too?
It's not the beginning, but yeah, I mean there's still like another 45 minutes at least.
I feel bad for your brother. Oh god.
But like so I'd say like definitely like I'm trying to think of like a similar movie to this that was just executed better would be like the first Thor. Like,
okay.
That's a similar movie to when I went to watch it. I had no investment in the character. I didn't know. I heard of Thor, didn't really know a whole lot about him or the storyline or anything. And I walked out like, that was actually really funny and enjoyable. And, that I think Thor is actually what I actually really started liking Marvel as a whole.
Okay.
When I kind of started catching a little bit of traction with that train,
one of my favorite movies from Marvel is probably Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one.
Yeah.
That one has some good comedy, had some good punches.
It's actually interesting you bring that up. What was a big thing about Guardians of the Galaxy? I don't know if you caught on to it, with your background and heritage and stuff, but like, was there something about that movie that like you realized other people had an instant deeper connection with it?
Maybe the music? I don't know.
The music was a big part of it. Like I watched that movie with my mom and my stepdad, and my mom was like, "Oh yeah, like this is great." And I think a lot of people they enjoyed the movie because there was so much music integration that they connected with.
The nostalgia that added it.
Yeah, and again, dude, La Chona, come on, like, and so I think Blue Beetle tried to like steal that recipe, and dude, they came out with like, I'm sure you've seen the meme where some girls like yelling at some guy about using like the rainbow crosswalk. I think she says like, "This is the gayborhood," and then she's like, "Oh, ah!" And then like it just like starts like, what's what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And like so that song where like the drums start kicking in, and they played that, so they hit like within the first 10 minutes of that movie like 4 solid like Mexican Chicano freaking anthems. Like,
Yeah, and it makes sense if you want to appeal to that audience. I mean, you got to use those references.
yeah, so I think that's like they're trying to reverse engineer. Like, okay, why was Marvel so successful? And
Yeah.
I think, but between like Blue Beetle, again, it was more of a light-hearted comedy outside of like this family murdering everybody. Um, it
Yeah.
was it was fun in the sense, very much like Shazam. Like,
Oh, okay.
I got to rewatch the first one. The second one though, when I watched that, I was like, that was actually. I wasn't trying to compare it to Endgame or Avengers. I was like,
Yeah.
I watched it in a different light, and I was like, this was fun. It was enjoyable. And so I would give, I guess for like another crossroad, I'd give the second Shazam movie like at 8.5. Like that was discreetly better
Okay.
than Blue Beetle at like a 7.5.
Okay.
So,
All
but
right. Well,
yeah,
let's move on to the next topic.
yeah. So
Uh,
I guess you with the maybe it's pulling at not your Chicano heartstrings, but your New Mexican, not old Mexican, but New Mexican heartstrings. With the atomic bomb. So
yeah. So, I mean, obviously, Oppenheimer just came out. Everybody's talking about that, and so I was watching these clips to where they were talking about the atomic bomb testing and how it was kind of like um, an arms race with Russia, and they were trying to kind of show off what they were testing, and so they had recorded these atomic bomb testings in Nevada. If we want to cut to the clip, and this is basically 1955, where we were kind of testing an atomic bomb and showing off.
wait, real quick. If it was an arms, if it was truly a race, like when they got they're faster on their legs.
Honest, they're monkeys.
All fours, why not? Arms and leg race.
So here, this clip real quick shows kind of the cameras that they were using during that time. Let me play it real quick.
For 0 hour as others check their camera.
So you see the cameras. Obviously, it's not the best compared to what we have now.
You know what those cameras remind me of?
What's that?
That stupid ass movie you had me watch in like 2015 or 16.
That was a good movie, all right.
What was it called?
I forget what it was called, but it was about this camera where
it was the size of a refrigerator.
Yeah, but it would take pictures of the future, and so this girl was I know it would take pictures of the future, and this girl was kind of following her own prompts from the future. It was a weird movie. I like it because it kind of messed with your head a little bit.
He was young and dumb, and he totally got hooked into like this like movie that had like a $20,000 budget. It was terrible.
Dude, I think I watched it like 5 times.
I think like terrible. To take a new picture of the future, they had to go and like move the little thing over like an old disposable camera. It looked like a disposable camera the size of a refrigerator. Like it was terrible. And I see these big ass cameras. It kind of reminds me of that. But go ahead, get back to your video.
All right, so they were basically just showing off the destructive force of the atomic bomb, right? But one topic here, let's get our tinfoil hats out.
Oh, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, so a lot of people look. That camera
that kid was fake. That kid was fake.
Obviously, it was fake. Yeah. But the camera was inside the house, and they were obviously in the middle of an atomic bomb. So, how did the film survive?
Oh, I know.
How are they having these perfect shots without any of the camera breaking or anything?
Dude, this is a simple answer. And it builds into like a lot of like it's like a really cringy like beginner comedy joke. Like, if the black box is the only thing to survive a plane crash, why don't they build the whole plane out of it? It's the black box way. It's designed to.
And I've seen some arguments to where they put the cameras or they put a bunch of mirrors in these tubes, and with the tubes they kind of stuck them out from the ground, and they were able to record all this. Maybe, I'm not sure, but it's kind of weird that in the middle of this blast, the radiation didn't affect the film at all.
You know,
it's perfectly fine.
Chernobyl Have you ever heard of the elephant's foot? I think it's called the elephant's foot.
No, what is that?
So when the melting of the core happened, there's like this, just like this molten, like kind of blob, kind of creeping out of like I guess the reactor.
Yeah.
I want to say it's called the elephant's foot. But like there's like one picture of it that like somebody just like put a camera around the corner, snapped a picture of it. But it's like I think it's like the only picture of that before like that made it out. So I think it would be a concern of the radioactivity, like degrading film. Like I think they took it and like had to get it out of there. So a sustained presence.
And I'm not questioning that they did these tests. I have no doubt that they have made these tests and that the atomic bombs do have that destructive force. But I think it was more done to kind of show off or to kind of scare off other countries. Say, oh, look how much destructive force we have.
Yeah. So
I think that's where it came from.
Do you think then that these are made off of like 20-to-1 models?
I think so. I think they made these small models, and I couldn't find the other clip, but there's a clip where they're kind of showing this house, and as the bomb detonates and illuminates everything, a car suddenly appears behind the house, and so it's all these little kind of things that show up, and you're like, that is kind of weird, but again, it might have just been done to kind of scare off the other countries.
It's either that or like a time traveler. They came back at the most inopportune time to try to stop the first atomic bomb, and like he popped in. He's like, "Oh, they're about to set it off," and so like he, your favorite movie, Back to the Future, did here hit 88, landed behind that house, and it's like, oh, he instantly just died. I mean,
it's like, oh, I got in the wrong time. Right
like, oh,
do the Homer, Homer sound effects.
Yeah, damn it, leap year! Leap year claimed another one. He forgot the quarter of the day in his calculations.
And so the final part of look at how the camera's directly facing the bomb.
Yeah.
You don't think the film would be affected by that if it was facing directly? And again, you could see the kind of like the tube that was being used, but come on, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in trenches to avoid all the radiation being hit.
Yeah. Did you actually watch Oppenheimer?
I did watch it. Yeah, it was a really good movie. I think it's one of the best movies that's come out maybe in the last 6-7 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was masterfully built. One of my favorite things that came out of it, like from that I saw in like little reels and stuff, was Matt Damon went into couples counseling with his wife.
Yeah,
and I think she had told him like, "Oh, I want you to take a break from making movies." Let me switch this camera away. He's like, "Okay, yeah, that's fair. I'll prioritize our relationship over my movie career." He's like, but I want one exception to be built into like this arrangement, this contract, this deal. She's like, "Okay, what's that?" He's like, "If Christopher Nolan calls, I have to go." Like nobody in Hollywood knows when he's working on something, when it's going to come out, what it is. But if he has a role that he wants me for, like I want to work for that guy.
Dude, so Christopher Nolan does not miss. All his movies are really good.
Did you watch Tenet?
Which one?
Tenet. Tenet.
No.
Tenet. That one. It was like I never made it through it. That's not a fat joke.
It's been a constant problem in my life.
No, Tenet. It was one of those like time disjunction movies to where like they could almost like go back and replay an event and then change it, or like people had the power to, I want to say, like manipulate time. So like before like that shootout happens, let me go back and like
I want to watch it now. Actually,
it made a lot of. I just remember watching. I was just like, oh, this is too much. Like,
How old were you?
dude, well, it's not an old movie. It's like I think this might have came out right at the during pandemic or when the pandemic
2020.
was. Yeah,
Just found it.
it might have been I think they weren't even able to do a theatrical release. I think it was straight to HBO or Prime release.
Okay.
And I couldn't get through it. And that's like
I watched it.
that would be like the one Nolan movie I could think of that
Yeah.
was like I wouldn't say he's hitting bullseyes necessarily. He's capable.
He is. He
know,
makes some really good movies.
Yeah, but I guess he has what's the whole like classic science thing, accuracy and precision. Like he definitely, he like some people make consistently bad movies, but he makes consistently movies that are on point.
Yeah.
And that one just made a standard deviation a little bit larger, like Tenet. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, overall, good movie. Oppenheimer was a really good movie, and that's kind of what this was inspired from. Is you could see in the movie where they were kind of worried that Russia was making advancements with the atomic bomb, and I wouldn't put it past them to say, you know what, let's put out some clips showing all the destruction that we can do with these buildings and all that.
Yeah, and again, that was obviously pre-internet, but like a secret like that could be contained to some level, right?
Yeah, they didn't have YouTube where they could just say, let me replay that real quick.
Yeah, there's no dude in the back like, dude, I won't get them, right? Like, put them on blast and get somebody canceled.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you started showing that clip, I was like, yeah, I saw the one where they said like, what happened to the car?
Yeah, it just completely disappeared.
Yeah,
that was weird. Yeah, going to the next one, which is also out of Russia. Do you know who Yevgeny? Oh, God, I'm gonna butcher this.
You don't know who he is, apparently.
Yevgeny Prigozhin. Do you know who that is?
I mean, not by name.
So he was, or I guess he was this military leader out in Russia, right? And he kind of developed this coup against the government. Was it 2 months ago? And they were marching towards Moscow. They were trying to basically take down the government.
Is this like in protest to things in general, or there were issues with Ukraine, or
they didn't like the way the leadership was going, and so they ended up protesting. They were marching to Moscow, and then all of a sudden it stopped. They made a deal, and that was it. Now, Putin has been notorious about making people disappear.
Houdini. It's a Houdini.
But yeah, so shortly after that deal was brokered, people were starting to say, do you think Yevgeny is going to live after this? And everybody, basically all of X, or formerly known as Twitter, was saying, you know what, I think his days are numbered and whatnot. And a couple of days ago, his private jet, or a commercial jet with 10 people, was shot down. And in that jet, Yevgeny Prigozhin was killed. And so you start thinking, it's like, do you think Putin was behind this? Do you think he might have said, you know what, I didn't like that he rebelled against our government, so now we're going to take down his plane?
Okay, conspiracy theory to your conspiracy theory. What if it was just like a bunch of like slaughtered hogs on there for like, and like now he's living like on some island with his family, and he got like $1 billion.
That's another a theory that people have, that he just faked his death. He's like, you know what, maybe Putin is coming after me. Yeah. What if I just fake my own death and say, yeah, I was on that plane, and get shot down? And so, and it's a huge conspiracy theory right now. Supposedly, they had already confirmed that he is dead, but we don't know. They only recovered 4 bodies out of the 10.
I mean, lucky enough for that guy. I mean, unless I mean, it's very possible. This is obviously a topic I don't have my finger on the pulse, but like that dude could be my neighbor and I wouldn't know. Like, so I think for him to hide, it's not like someone who's like Messi could never disappear.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right? Someone like Putin or Trump could never just go into like a witness protection type program.
Yeah.
But like that guy, like definitely, like I imagine.
I mean, in politics, he was very famous because of the coup. And he was very well known for his military strategies, and it was kind of like the right hand of Putin. And so after that coup, it kind of things went sour.
Yeah.
And so now they're talking about how the that military that was I think it was the Wagner military was going to be still kind of going against the government. And so it's a huge problem right now with Russia. I kind of just follow it here and there whenever I hear something. It's not something I'm checking every day on my phone to see what's going on, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that. I'm still not a fan of Twitter's rebranding as X. Like, it's weird.
See X videos on there.
Yeah. Like I think just in referencing it, like,
yeah,
it's not like if it was like, let's say like just like a Greek symbol like alpha, or like or what's Facebook's thing, Meta.
No, and what I've heard is Elon Musk is kind of fond of the letter X. I mean, his kid's name XAE, whatever it is. So he also made what was it? A company that was X.com before that. That was kind of the predecessor to PayPal. And so he kind of always had this vision of, I want to make this all-encompassing app that you can do trade in, that you can have your bank in, basically everything. And I think that's where he wants to take X now, formerly known as Twitter, in that direction.
Yeah, I just feel like I mean, obviously that dude's smarter than us.
Like, oh yeah,
I'll give him that
easily.
But yeah, like I forget what was I was trying to find when I was doing my lease buyout on my car.
Yeah.
There's a company called LeaseEnd, right? Mm-hmm. And I was trying to find Reddit threads on like a LeaseEnd experience, like somebody's experience using LeaseEnd.
Yeah.
And it's like the most unsearchable name. Like, because like they're like, oh, at the end of your lease, I was like, no, lease end parentheses, look for it strictly. And like it was something I was like, man, I can't find anybody talking about this because it's such a weird name for it's not lease buyout, or it's not lease takeover. Lease end, that's just a normal phrase within the car industry that it just washed out. So like X kind of reminds me of that it just conversationally doesn't stand on its own. It doesn't. I mean, it'll get there. But I think it's going to be, I don't know. I'm a bit old school too when I think about stuff like that, but I think it's just
going to be a hard habit to break for people. Like they used to call it Twitter and tweets and all that. Now what are they going to call it? Tweets, X posts. It's going to be weird. It's going to be a weird transition.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it develops. But dude, I think that should be it for today, man. I think it was a good little talk, a good little first spin at talking a little BS.
Yeah, I think that was good. I mean, first show. I mean, obviously, we're gonna keep developing new strategies to kind of present our stuff, and we're gonna keep evolving in a sense. But yeah.
So if you guys laughed or learned something, drop us a like, give us a follow, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything right now. That's the nice part about it. All right, guys. Well, take it easy and you have a good day.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.